Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Daily English Lab podcast. Does your brain ever feel like it's running a translation program when you try to speak English? You're searching for one word, then the next, and by the time you've built your sentence, the conversation has already moved on. It feels slow, robotic, and just plain frustrating. Well, what if I told you there's a powerful technique native speakers use without even thinking about it? A method that can completely change the way you speak. It's a secret that shifts you from talking word by word to speaking in full, natural, and confident sentences. This technique is called the chunking method, and in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what it is, why it's the key to unlocking your fluency, and how you can start using it today. By the end of this, you won't just understand chunking, you'll be practicing it with me, and you'll have a clear action plan to make it a part of your daily English habit. Welcome! I'm so glad you're here. If that stuck feeling I just described sounds familiar, I need you to know that it is not your fault. For years, we've been taught to learn English the hard way by memorizing endless vocabulary lists and complicated grammar rules. We're taught to build sentences like we're assembling IKEA furniture with a million tiny parts and a confusing instruction manual. But that's not how fluency works. Fluency isn't about knowing more individual parts. It's about knowing how the parts fit together automatically. And that is the magic of chunking. This one shift in how you see and practice the language can do more for your speaking speed, your confidence, and your natural rhythm than years of traditional study. Today, we're leaving the old, slow method behind. We're going to learn how to see, hear, and speak English in chunks, the real building blocks of natural, fluent conversation. Ready? Let's get into it. So, what exactly is chunking? Simply put, chunking is learning and using groups of words that naturally go together instead of learning single, isolated words. These word groups are called chunks. Think about phrases like, by the way, on the other hand, or nice to meet you. Native speakers don't think nice to meet you. They process nice to meet you as one single piece of information. It's one idea, one block of sound. Let's compare the old way with the chunking way. The old way, word by word. You feel thirsty. Your brain starts searching its internal dictionary. I, okay, easy. Want, got it. To, the preposition. Drink, the verb. Some, the quantifier. Water, the noun. The final sentence is grammatically perfect. I want to drink some water. But the process is slow, mentally exhausting, and it just sounds unnatural with all the pauses. The chunking way. You learn the whole phrase, I want to get some water, as a single chunk. You hear it, you absorb it, and you say it. It just rolls off the tongue smoothly and quickly with the natural rhythm of a native speaker. Because you hear how want to blends into wanna, it just flows. This isn't just a neat trick. It's actually how our brains are wired. The idea of chunking was famously explored by psychologist George Miller. He found that our short-term memory is surprisingly small. It can only hold about 7 pieces of information at once. But by grouping items into bigger, meaningful chunks, we can hack that limit. Think about a phone number. You don't remember 10 separate digits like 555, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You chunk it 555, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You just turn 10 pieces of information into 3 easy-to-remember chunks. This is exactly what happens with language. When you learn a chunk like, I'm looking forward to it, you're not storing 5 separate words. You're storing one single idea. This frees up so much mental energy. Instead of being a translator and a grammar checker, your brain can focus on the important stuff. What do I want to say? How do I feel? What is the other person saying? This is the secret to speaking fluently without all the hesitation. Think of it like building with Legos. The old method is like having a giant box of tiny single-dot Lego bricks. To build anything, you have to find and connect each tiny piece one by one. It's painfully slow. Chunking is like having pre-built sections. You've got a wall piece, a window piece, a door piece. You can build your house in a fraction of the time. These chunks are your pre-built sections of the English language. Most importantly, this is how we all learned our first language. As a kid, you didn't learn the verb to go, the preposition to, and the noun bed. You heard it's time to go to bed every night and absorbed it as one unit of meaning connected to sleep. You learned the chunk. Kids aren't taught grammar rules, yet they become fluid because they are master chunkers. They absorb thousands of these chunks just by listening. So if you want to speak like a native, you have to start learning like one. You have to start seeing the chunks.
Okay, so you get the what and the why. Now for the fun part, the how. We're going to build your personal chunking toolkit. I've broken down some of the most common English chunks into categories for real-life situations. The goal isn't to memorize this whole list at once. That would be crazy. Instead, I want you to start seeing the patterns. See how these blocks build the language. Pick a few from each category that feel useful for your life and start there. Let's begin. Category 1. Greetings and small talk. These are the chunks that open the door to any conversation. Getting these smooth is key to a great first impression. How's it going? Way more casual and common than how are you? What's up? A super casual hello between friends. Have you been? Perfect for someone you haven't seen in a while. Long time no see. A classic for a reason. Use it when you're happy to see someone after a long break. What are you up to? A friendly way to ask, what are you doing? Or what are your plans? Can't complain. A common positive reply to, how are you? Nice to meet you. Or it was nice meeting you. First one for arriving, second one for leaving. How was your weekend? The perfect conversation starter on a Monday. Anything exciting happening lately? A more engaging way to ask for news. Keeping busy? A common way to ask if someone's been working a lot. How's everything? A general, friendly check-in. It's a beautiful day, isn't it? Using these little tag questions is a very natural small talk pattern. Category 2. Expressing your opinion, agreement, and disagreement. This is where you go from hello to a real conversation. Having these ready makes you sound so much more thoughtful. Expressing your opinion. In my opinion, a straightforward, slightly formal opener. The way I see it shows you're offering your unique perspective. If you ask me, a more informal, confident way to share your thoughts. I'm of the opinion that very formal, great for business or academic settings. To be honest, or honestly, signals you're about to be very direct. Personally, I think that highlights that this is your personal view. What I'm trying to say is, perfect for clarifying a point you're making. Agreeing. Exactly, or absolutely. Strong, simple agreement. That's so true. Shows you strongly relate to what they said. I couldn't agree with you more. This is the highest level of agreement. You've got a point there. Shows you find their argument valid. I see your point. This says, I understand your perspective. I feel the same way. Shows you agree on an emotional level. Tell me about it. An informal, enthusiastic way to say, I totally agree. I've had the same experience. Disagreeing politely. I see your point, but the golden rule. Acknowledge first, then offer your view. I'm not so sure about that. A gentle way to show you have doubts. I understand where you're coming from, however, shows empathy before you disagree. On the other hand, a great chunk for introducing a different perspective. I have to disagree, I'm afraid. A polite but firm way to state your opposition. That's one way of looking at it, but implies there are other ways to see the issue. Category 3. Asking for help and clarification. Nobody understands everything all the time. Using these chunks helps you feel confident, not embarrassed, when you need a little help. Asking for help. Could you give me a hand with this? Great for asking for physical help. I'm having a bit of trouble with a soft way to introduce your problem. Could you do me a favor? Use this right before you make a request. I was wondering if you could, a very polite and indirect way to ask for help. Would you mind opening the window? Asking for clarification. Sorry, I didn't quite catch that. A polite way to say you didn't hear or understand. Could you say that again, please? A simple, direct request. What do you mean by that? Asks for a deeper explanation of a specific word or phrase. So, if I understand correctly, a fantastic way to confirm you understood by paraphrasing. Could you explain that in a different way? Ask them to rephrase it, not just repeat it. I'm not sure I follow. A polite way to say you're lost. It's on the tip of my tongue for that frustrating moment when you almost know a word but can't find it. Category 4. Making plans and suggestions. These are the chunks that turn talk into action. They're essential for your social and work life. Making suggestions. How about we get pizza tonight? What if we proposes an idea for the group to consider? We could always offers an alternative or a backup plan. I was thinking we could, a gentle way to put an idea out there. Why don't we, a really common way to make a group suggestion? Are you free on Saturday? Or what are you doing on Saturday? The first step to making any plan. Responding to suggestions. That sounds like a great idea. Positive and enthusiastic. I'm up for that, or I'm down for that. Casual ways to say yes. I'd love to, but I have other plans. A polite way to say no. Maybe another time. A soft no that leaves the door open for the future. I'll get back to you. Means you'll give them an answer later. I'll have to pass this time. A polite but firm refusal. I'll get back to you. Means you'll give them an answer later. Category 5. Talking about your day. Daily routines. These are the bread and butter chunks of everyday chat. Mastering them lets you share your life easily. I usually wake up at the first thing I do. I head to work or school around. To head to a place just means to go there. I get off work at a very common way to say you finish your workday. For lunch, I usually have. In the evening, I like to. I'm planning to. For your immediate future plans. I've been working on describing a longer-term project. It's been a long day, a classic phrase to express you're tired after work. I'm looking forward to the weekend, expressing excitement for a break. I've got a lot on my plate right now, means you are very busy. Time to call it a day, means it's time to stop working. Category 6. At a restaurant or cafe. Ordering food can be stressful. These chunks make it simple. A table for two, please? Could we see the menu, please? What do you recommend? I'll have I'd like the most common ways to order. Could I get a glass of water? Is it possible to have this without, for making a special request? Everything was delicious, thank you. Could we have the check, please? Check, please. Are you ready to order? What the waiter might ask you. Can I get you anything else? Also from the waiter. Keep the change. What to say when you pay with cash and don't want the small change back. Do you take credit cards? Category 7. In a business meeting or professional setting. Using the right chunks at work makes you sound more professional, capable, and confident. Let's get down to business to start the main topic of the meeting. To begin with, to introduce your first point. Moving on to the next point, a clear transition. I'd like to hand it over to give another person the floor. From my perspective, a professional version of, in my opinion. Let's wrap this up to signal it's time to end the meeting. What are the next steps to clarify what happens after the meeting? Let's touch base next week. Means let's have a short chat next week. Can I just jump in here? A polite way to interrupt. To summarize the main points for concluding a discussion. I'll look into it and get back to you. A promise to find information and give an answer later. We're on the same page. A great way to say, we agree. Category 8. Expressing feelings and emotions. Connecting with people means sharing how you feel. These chunks help you do that with more color than just happy or sad. I'm feeling a bit under the weather. A common way to say you feel a little sick. I'm over the moon about means you're extremely happy. That's a huge weight off my mind to express major relief. I'm on the fence about it means you're undecided. It's driving me crazy to express extreme frustration. I'm so pumped for the concert means you're very excited. I have mixed feelings about when you feel both positive and negative things. I'm a bit stressed out, a very common way to talk about stress. That really hit the spot for something, usually food or drink, that was perfectly satisfying. I can't thank you enough for deep gratitude. I'm sorry to hear that. A simple, kind phrase to show sympathy. Category 9. Connecting ideas. Transition chunks. Fluent speakers use these little chunks like glue to make their sentences and ideas stick together smoothly. By the way, to introduce a new, slightly unrelated topic. Anyway, to get back to the main topic after getting sidetracked. As I was saying, to return to a point you were making before an interruption. On a different note, to clearly signal you're changing the subject. Speaking of which, to connect a new idea to something that was just mentioned. To make a long story short, to give the conclusion without all the boring details. In a nutshell, similar to the one above, it means in summary. At the end of the day means ultimately, or the most important point is, first of all, to start with, to introduce your first point. In addition to that,
to add another related point. On top of that, to add another point, often one that's more surprising or extreme. For example, or for instance, to introduce an example. Category 10, ending a conversation. How you end a conversation is just as important as how you start it. These chunks help you leave gracefully. Well, it was great catching up. A warm way to signal the end is near. I should probably get going. A polite way to say you need to leave. It was nice chatting with you. A friendly closing line. I've got to run. An informal way of saying I have to go. Let's do this again sometime. Shows you want to see them again. Take care, or take it easy. Common, friendly ways to say goodbye. Have a good one. A casual way to say have a good day or have a good evening. I'll talk to you later. A standard closing, especially on the phone. Keep in touch for someone you might not see for a while. Whew. That's a lot of chunks. But can you see the power here? Imagine having just 3 or 4 of these from each category ready to go. Your conversations would feel completely different. Knowing these chunks is one thing. Making them a real, active part of your speech is another. This takes practice. And the single best technique for practicing chunks is called shadowing. Shadowing is simple. You listen to a native speaker and repeat what they say, almost at the same time. You try to copy their pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation, like you're their shadow. It trains your mouth to make the sounds of English and helps you feel the music of the language. It basically connects your ears directly to your mouth, skipping that slow translating part of your brain. So, right now, we're going to do a shadowing workout together. Find a spot where you can speak out loud without feeling silly. You have to physically say the words. Don't just do it in your head. I'll say a chunk, then leave a pause for you to repeat it. Try to match my speed and tone. Ready? Part 1, the chunk warm-up. Let's start with some short, common chunks. I'll say it, then you say it in the pause. How's it going? Can't complain. The way I see it, I see your point. Could you give me a hand? That sounds like a great idea. By the way, have a good one.
Excellent. How did that feel? A little weird at first? That's totally normal. You're building new muscle memory. Let's try something a bit more challenging. Part 2, the mini conversation workout. Now we're going to shadow short conversations. This is where you'll really start to feel the flow. Here's how it works. 1. First, just listen to the whole dialogue to get the context. 2. Then we'll go line by line. I'll say a line, and you'll repeat it in the pause. I'll break up longer lines into smaller, bite-sized chunks. And finally, I'll play the dialogue again at a natural speed, and I want you to try and speak along with me. It'll be fast, but it's amazing practice. Ready? Let's go. Dialogue 1. Making plans for the weekend. Characters, Alex and Ben. Step 1. Just listen. Hey, Ben. How's it going? Hey, Alex.
Can't complain. It's been a long week, though. I'm looking forward to the weekend. Tell me about it. I've got a lot on my plate at work. Anyway, do you have any plans for Saturday? Not really. Nothing set in stone. What are you up to? I was thinking of going for a hike. The weather is supposed to be amazing. Would you be up for that? That sounds like a great idea. I'd love to. What time were you thinking? How about we meet at the trailhead around 9 a.m.? Perfect. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be great to get outside. Awesome. Well, I've got to run, but I'll text you the details later. Sounds good. Talk to you later. Step 2. Shadowing line by line. All right, your turn. Repeat after me. Hey, Ben. How's it going? Pause. Hey, Alex. Pause. Can't complain. Pause. It's been a long week, though. Pause. I'm looking forward to the weekend. Pause. Tell me about it. Pause. I've got a lot on my plate at work. Pause. Anyway. Pause. Do you have any plans for Saturday? Pause. Not really. Pause. Nothing set in stone. Pause. What are you up to? Pause. I was thinking of going for a hike. Pause. The weather is supposed to be amazing. Pause. Would you be up for that? Pause. That sounds like a great idea. Pause. I'd love to. Pause. What time were you thinking? Pause. How about we meet at the trailhead around 9 a.m.? Pause. Perfect. Pause. I'm looking forward to it. Pause. It'll be great to get outside. Pause. Awesome. Pause. Well, I've got to run. Pause. But I'll text you the details later. Pause. Sounds good. Pause. Talk to you later. Great work. Now for the final challenge. Step 3. Shadowing at full speed. I'm going to play the dialogue again at a normal conversational speed. Do your best to speak along with me. Don't worry if you miss some words. The goal is to catch the rhythm. Ready? Let's go. Hey, Ben. How's it going? Hey, Alex. Can't complain. It's been a long week, though. I'm looking forward to the weekend. Tell me about it. I've got a lot on my plate at work. Anyway, do you have any plans for Saturday? Not really. Nothing set in stone. What are you up to? I was thinking of going for a hike. The weather is supposed to be amazing. Would you be up for that? That sounds like a great idea. I'd love to. What time were you thinking? How about we meet at the trailhead around 9 a.m.? Perfect. I am looking forward to it. It'll be great to get outside. Awesome. Well, I've got to run, but I'll text you the details later. Sounds good. Talk to you later. How'd you do? Even if you only caught half of it, you're training your brain and mouth to work at native speed. That's a huge win. Let's try one more. Dialogue 2. At a cafe. Characters, you, and the barista. Step 1. Just listen. Hi there. What can I get you for today? Hi, could I get a large latte with oat milk, please? Absolutely. Would you like to try our new blueberry muffin? They're fresh out of the oven. Oh, that sounds tempting. On second thought, yes, I'll have one of those as well. Great choice. Will that be all for you? Yes, that's everything. Okay, your total is $8.50. Will you be paying with cash or card? Card, please. All right, we'll have your name for the order. It's your name. Perfect. We'll call your name when it's ready. Thanks so much.
Step 3. Shadowing at full speed. Okay, one last time, let's do it together at a natural speed. Try to keep up. Fantastic job. This is the work. This is how you build fluency. It's active, it's physical. Doing this for just 10 minutes a day will give you amazing results. I don't want you to just watch this video and think, that was interesting. I want you to take this method and change how you speak English forever. So, I've created a simple 3-step action plan for you to follow for the next 30 days. This is your path to making chunking an automatic habit. Step 1. Become a chunk collector. Days 1 to 15. For the first 2 weeks, your only job is to be a detective, a collector of chunks. Your goal is to train your brain to stop seeing single words and start noticing the phrases native speakers actually use. Your daily mission? Spend 10 to 15 minutes each day listening to or reading real English. This could be a podcast, a YouTube video about your hobbies, a Netflix show, or an online article. Your tool? Grab a dedicated notebook, your chunking notebook, or use a notes app on your phone. Your task? As you listen or read, hunt for chunks. When you hear a phrase that flows together, sounds natural, or seems useful, hit pause and write it down. Get the whole sentence so you remember the context. Your target? Try to collect 5 new, high-quality chunks every day. After 2 weeks, you'll have a personal list of 70 powerful phrases. Step 2. Activate your chunks. Days 16 to 30. Collecting isn't enough. Now you have to bring these chunks to life. Your daily mission? Spend 10 to 15 minutes with your chunking notebook. Your task? First, review yesterday's chunks. Read them out loud. Then, pick your top 3 chunks for the day. Your mission is to truly own these 3 chunks. Activation Technique 1. Say it loud. Repeat each chunk 10 times. Say it slow, say it normal, say it fast. Feel the rhythm. Activation Technique 2. Make it yours. For each of your 3 chunks, create your own sentence. If your chunk is on the other hand, you might say, I love living in the city, but on the other hand, it's crazy expensive. This step is critical. It connects the chunk to your life and your thoughts. Step 3. Use 'em or lose 'em. Forever. This is the final and most important step. Language is a tool, and it gets rusty if you don't use it. So, your daily challenge, every single day, try to use at least one of your new chunks in a real situation. How to use them? In conversation. If you have a speaking partner or take classes, make it a game to drop your chunk of the day. In writing, use your chunk to write a comment on a YouTube video or social media, send an email or a text to a friend, or with yourself. This is a fantastic trick. Talk to yourself. As you go about the day, describe what you're doing using your chunks. Okay, finished work, time to call it a day. It might feel silly, but it's an incredibly powerful way to practice without any pressure. This 3-step plan builds a powerful habit. First you notice, then you practice, then you use. That is the cycle of fluency. We've covered so much today. We've torn down the old, slow method of learning English word by word. We've unlocked the secret of chunking, the key native speakers use to sound so natural. We've built a starter toolkit with over 100 useful chunks, and most importantly, we practiced them together with shadowing. The journey to fluency can feel long, but what I want you to remember is that you now have a shortcut. The path isn't about memorizing the dictionary. It's about collecting, practicing, and using these powerful blocks of language. Fluency isn't some destination you magically arrive at. It's a skill you build every day with every chunk you learn and every sentence you speak with a little more confidence than the day before. You have the method, you have the tools, you have the action plan. The only thing missing is your commitment. So let's start that commitment right now. Here's your challenge. Go down to the comments and write one new chunk you learned from this video. It could be, "The way I see it, that sounds like a great idea," or "I'm feeling a bit under the weather." I want to see which chunks you found most useful, and I'll be reading every single comment. And if you're serious about this journey and want more lessons and practice just like this, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. We're in this together, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Thanks for putting in the work today. Now go out there and start chunking.